In 2011, Dr. Roger Walsh, a professor of psychiatry from the University of California, published his conclusions about the connections between the things that we eat and our mental health. He concluded that mental health professionals significantly undervalue the importance of nutrition as it pertains to cognitive functioning and brain optimization. I got to learn the impact of nutrition firsthand about 3 years ago when my mom suffered from a massive stroke. I remember the event like it was yesterday. I was out of town that weekend and I got a call from a random number. So I decided to pick up, and on the other end of the line was a doctor explaining to me that my mom had just been life-flighted from her home to a nearby hospital so they could perform emergency brain surgery on her in order to save her life. Shortly after the surgery, she was in a coma for about a month, and during that time, in order to sustain her health, they had her on a liquid protein supplement that they fed her through an IV. After her coma, she was in a vegetative state for about 5 weeks. She couldn't move her limbs, and she certainly couldn't say anything, but we knew that she was awake. And it was during that time that, as her son and as a nutrition professional, I did everything that I could to help motivate the doctors to perform the necessary tests in order to advance her nutrition as fast as possible. When she went from the liquid protein supplement to soft foods, and then from soft foods to hard foods, she made leaps and bounds in her recovery. I never thought I could be so happy to see someone move a single finger, let alone the night I was sitting there with her, and she looks up at me from her bed and sort of under her breath mumbles what she used to call me when I was a kid, and she says the words, "baby boy." It's been 3 years now since my mom's stroke, and I'm happy to say that she's practically made a full recovery, both physically and mentally, so much so that she is 100% back to being comfortable with telling me what to do with my life. Now, my mom's mental stroke is an extreme example of the positive impact that nutrition can have on our lives, and it's just one illustration of the difference that it can make in our brains. For example, a study by the University of Illinois showed that healthy nutrition can help to slow age-related declines in cognition, and other studies have shown that the right diet can also help soldiers struggling with traumatic brain injuries. But healthy eating isn't just for older people and for soldiers. Other studies have shown that the right diet can help to aid in student achievement, and healthy eating can actually help show positive effects for people struggling with mental illnesses. So if we know that eating healthy is good for everyone, then why aren't we all doing it? Because the things that we choose to eat are about a lot more than just the facts. For example, recently at an event that my company was hosting, a guy actually came up to our table and he said, "I'd rather eat what I want and die soon than eat healthy." It's a little intense, right? But the choices we make about the foods that we eat have a lot to do with the feelings that they give us and the memories that are ingrained over time. But if we start to find one or two healthy foods and begin to make happy memories around those foods, I believe that we can start to change the way that we eat. When our clients started to ask us to make healthy foods for their children, we began to do the research on how to make healthy foods attractive for the younger population. And when we started to do this, I was reminded of my dad's meatloaf. So when I was a kid, my dad made the best possible meatloaf. And we knew that because he told us that. But more importantly, we knew that because of the memories that were surrounding the meatloaf. So days prior to him making that, he would even maybe wake us up and let us know, like, Dad's making his world-class meatloaf. So you better believe on meatloaf night, we were home long before the streetlights came on. So I think one of the keys to changing the way that we eat is to start creating happy memories around those foods. We can maybe even change the composition of an existing favorite, like breading our chicken with oatmeal and baking it rather than frying it. Or at your next party, instead of having chips and dip, try apples and cheese instead. Or even, instead of making sandwiches, try doing lettuce wraps. It doesn't have to be a major shift, and we won't change our habits overnight. But if we take it day by day and meal by meal, I believe that we can begin to reap the cognitive benefits of eating healthy. And when I was studying nutrition, I learned that we first eat with our nose, then our eyes, and then our mouths. So we decide based off how something smells, if we like it, or even how it looks, long before our palate has the opportunity to make that decision. I also believe that the way we feel about foods has a lot to do with our memories, like my dad's meatloaf. So let's start making happy memories around healthy food. Thank you.
you.